Fairy and the Unicorns. Once upon a time, there were two ponies, Lana and Tommy, who wanted to become unicorns. They asked their mom how to make this wish come true. She replied that she did not know and advised them to do a search in the library. Lana and Tommy then spent several afternoons reading all the stories about unicorns. After all this reading, in a book they found a story about a pony being transformed into a unicorn by a fairy. They rushed home to their mom to report what they had found out, and to ask her where it was possible to meet a fairy. She replied that she didn't know that either. She advised them to go to the library again and look for information in books that talked about fairies. So they did. In the stories they read, they noticed that often the fairy lived in the middle of the woods, in a little house that always had smoke coming out of the chimney. They informed their mom again and asked her where there was a large wood near their house. This time the mom knew the answer and said that towards the north, about 2 hours away, there was a large, beautiful forest, and that they could go there on Saturdays when there was no school. On Friday night, they packed the backpacks with water, food, and a compass. On Saturday morning, they left, and due to the excitement of the adventure, they arrived at the woods in 1.5 hours. Lana and Tommy decided to stop for a snack before entering the woods. Immediately, they encountered an old owl with glasses perched on a branch. They greeted him and asked him if there was a fairy who lived in that wood. The owl replied that she lives in the central and highest part of the wood. He explained that they should follow the path in front until they reached the stream. Then a little further on they would find her house. The two very excited ponies thanked him and walked quickly. They arrived at the cottage and noticed smoke coming out of the chimney. They knocked on the door, and after a few minutes the door opened, but they saw no one. They heard a voice saying, "Good morning. How can I help you?" The speaker was a cricket on the floor, dressed as a butler with a tie. After saying hello, they asked if it was possible to meet the fairy. The cricket replied that he could not disturb her because she was always very busy. The two sad ponies said that they came from very far away and that they only wanted to talk to her for a few minutes. The cricket then said he would inform the fairy, so they had to wait a bit. He closed the door, leaving them outside the house. After 1/2 hour of waiting, the ponies were tempted to knock again. They consulted each other to decide, and at that moment the door opened again. The cricket said the fairy would meet them as soon as possible. He invited them to come in and wait in the sitting room. After another 1/2 hour, the fairy arrived. She was young and beautiful, with a very sweet voice, a blue and fuchsia dress and blonde hair. She said, "What can I do for you?" Lana and Tommy said they wished to be transformed into unicorns, and they knew that fairies have this ability. The fairy replied that it was true that she could transform them, but that to do so, they would have to deserve it. Respecting and helping others, not lying, studying in short, behaving well. She said that she would inquire about them and that she would observe them for some time before deciding. Then she said goodbye, telling them to come back after 28 days. Lana and Tommy were so eager to tell their mom about the meeting with the fairy that they went home running. They told her everything and immediately started to help her by washing the dishes, doing the cleaning, and all the housework. The next day they met an old goat who was limping and carrying a large and heavy bag. They immediately rushed to help her, accompanying her home. Another day, in a meadow, they saw a little donkey, a little sad because no one wanted to play with him. They spent the whole afternoon with him, making him happy. The days passed with them behaving very well, as they had always done. But one day, while they were playing with friends in the garden, it was dinner time, and their mom got a little angry because she had to insist a lot to get them back. The 28 days passed and they returned to the fairy. They told her that they had done well by helping and respecting everyone and studying a lot. The fairy said that she had inquired and that she had observed them for a long time, admitting that in any case, a fairy always knows everything, even without inquiring. She then said they were on track, but still not ready. She reminded them of that day that they were having a good time with their friends, and their mom had to insist a lot on making them go home for dinner. Lana and Tommy, a little disappointed, returned home and immediately ran to their mom to apologize for that day. They said they were very sorry and that it would never happen again. Mom said not to worry, that she was proud of them, and apologizing was an act of maturity. At night, they went to sleep. In the middle of the night, a blue light surrounded by a fuchsia halo appeared in their room, becoming more and more intense. The fairy materialized, and with a magic wand she transformed the two ponies, still sleeping, into unicorns. One was white with horn, mane and tail with rainbow colors. The other was pink with mane and tail with fuchsia colors. The two unicorns, Lana and Tommy, woke up, and still sleepy they realized that the spell had happened. They were so happy that they ran to their mom to celebrate the magic night.